The symbols and the secret of the Freemasons. Please remember to stay to the end to find out what that secret of the Freemasons is. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, one of the definitions of a symbol is an object or act representing something in the unconscious mind that has been repressed. A symbol can be composed of an object, with or without a shape, with many details, very complex, as well as simple. Perhaps with colors or not, but still able to transmit a message through its image, which wakes up within ourselves a certain feeling or emotion. Images are a strong force. It's not casual that people say that one image speaks louder than words. A word can be clearly defined, but a symbol cannot. For some, a symbol can mean something completely different compared to others. Symbols are powerful, images that speak to our unconscious mind. The reason why images and symbols are so important is because the spiritual world communicates through images and symbols. When we dream, most of the time when we remember something after we wake up, usually are images, messages from either our spiritual guide or ourselves. When people who allege to communicate with spirits, psychics, or mediums establish contact to a spiritual being, most of the time are able to communicate through images. So these symbols and images are the doors to the spiritual world and to ourselves. All cultures were aware of this. Even the most antique forms of languages started and developed from symbols, representing things and later became words. And other antique cultures decided to remain communicating through symbols. But is there a way that we can use images to understand what's inside our mind and to discover these hidden aspects that we have within ourselves that we don't even know? Well, there is a resource that is being used by doctors to allow them to uncover aspects of the unconscious mind. And those tests are the Rorschach test. This test uses the interpretation of ambiguous designs to assess an individual's personality, which is an idea that goes back to Leonardo da Vinci and Botticelli. The Rorschach test is a psychological test in which subjects' perceptions are recorded and then analyzed using psychological interpretation. Some psychologists use this test to examine a person's personality characteristics and emotional functioning. It has been employed to detect underlying disorders, especially in cases where patients are reluctant to describe their thinking process openly. The test is named after its creator, Swiss psychologist Hermann Rorschach. The administrator and subject typically sit next to each other at a table, with the administrator slightly behind the subject. In other words, side by side, which mitigates the possibility that the examiner will accidentally influence the subject's responses. Another leading doctor who studied the influence of images was Carl Jung, who was a Swiss psychiatrist. He created some of the best-known psychological concepts, including synchronicity, archetypal phenomenon, and the collective unconscious. Carl Jung archetypes are defined as universal, archaic symbols and images that derive from the collective unconscious, as proposed by Carl Jung. They are the psychic counterpart of instinct. That is to say, they are a kind of innate, unspecific knowledge from the sum total of human history. which prefigures and directs conscious behavior. According to Jung, the human collective unconscious is populated by instincts as well as by archetypes, universal symbols such as the Great Mother, the Wise Old Man, the Shadow, the Tower, Water, and the Tree of Life. Jung considered the collective unconscious to underpin and surround the unconscious mind, distinguishing it from the personal unconscious. So on one hand, we have a test that psychologists uses to find out through images what really is going inside someone's head, so to speak. And in the other hand, we have archetypes that are universal and are part of the collective unconscious mind. Either way, images and everything that this implies have a strong influence in our mind and in our personality. It makes sense that all traditions in their search for illumination use mandalas as tools to enlighten and allow the mind to move forward using their images, colors, and shapes as part of their meditation process. Also, the use of colors, whether they are dark or more clear, to evocate a certain emotion within ourselves, which we can clearly see when visiting hospitals, clinics, or visiting nightclubs. The whole concepts take us deeply into the discussion of symbolism. But to understand this process and its importance, we need to go in depth into how our mind works. As mentioned before, psychologists were able to identify within our mind hidden aspects that are not usually disclosed and accessible by us or anyone. Psychoanalysis was able to get in touch to these underneath aspects of ourselves by studying techniques like hypnosis and suggestion, and other mystical strings of thought or occult schools define this state to access it as gnosis, the Greek word for knowledge. This unconscious mind, the source of divine magic. In Freemasonry, for example, all the rituals are based on symbols that are placed in specific parts of either initiations and other ceremony rituals to both evocate and be internalized by the initiate during this journey. Part of the work of the Freemasons is to study the symbolism of the ritual and do their own interpretation of each symbol. In other orders like the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, the adepts were asked to draw and paint each card of the tarot deck to make sure they internalize the symbolism of each. Ceremonial magicians use magical weapons with colors and symbols of each element on their rituals, since they have a direct effect on the mind while used during the magical operation. What is Freemasonry? What is it? Freemasonry is a beautiful system of morality, veiled in allegory and illustrated by symbols. What's true behind what people say that whatever takes place inside a temple is a secret? Well, that's not really true. I actually bought 2 books on a bookstore at Borders back in the day with the signs, Dukar's secret words, as well as online. You can find information about the rituals, details of the ceremony, description of the position of the officials in the lodge, etc. So what makes the order so different from other organizations, where you also do an obligation, share a huge bond with the members, and aim to make individuals a better man? Well, my friends, that's the precise secret of Freemasonry, and that consists on their system based on symbols. Through the interpretation and meditation on the Masonic symbols, we can know ourselves like the Rorschach test do, connect to the collective consciousness like Jung said, and be in touch with the spiritual work like we do when we dream. The Masonic Secret cannot be found in any book or online, not even by memorizing all the existing writings or rituals about the order, because only the internal work, meditation, deeply and individual on the symbolism can help you find such a secret. There is a Masonic secret. There is. And it's so secret that for each person is different. So different and unique that is personal. Thank you for watching this video. Please remember to subscribe, share, and like. And check out my channel with more videos. Remember, do what you will should be the whole of the law. Take care, my friends. 93.